Barcelona defeat Getafe 2-0 away, and stick around to find out why, with Lamine Yamal being out injured, our pathway to victory now moving forward in the upcoming games is to maintain control and be orderly with our midfield. So, let's get into the game. Context. I did not expect us to have a brilliant game. I did not expect this to be an easy game. We know what Getafe away is. Early, early game, sun beaming down. The state of the pitch, horrendous, horrendous. The way the ball was dropping at certain times was disgusting. I don't know if it's Gerard Martin or Araujo that there's a through ball that's played by, or a long ball that's played by Getafe, and then I think it's Cancelo that tries to see it out, but the ball bounces and the bounce dampens so badly that the ball sticks inside. So he's caught awkwardly, has to give away a free corner. But there was just situations like that, Kunde having some little mishaps here and there with receiving the ball. So did John Garcia. And, Getafe were also there playing their game, trying to generate lots of stops in the game, not letting us have fluidity and build up momentum with the ball at our feet. So they would break that up with fouls, with fouls off the ball as well, trying to draw yellows, trying to start spats here and there, and trying to, play the dirty style that they do play. Granted, it was one of their lighter days, but there's still some situations that, were just gross to see. But this is the kind of game that makes it like just uncomfortable to watch. It's a tough watch. You don't really look forward to it. You know nothing amazing is gonna happen. But I said in the preview that we were gonna have to have a very orderly game in order to see this game through, and I wanted this game to be responsible by the part of the players. I wanted the players to face this game with responsibility, do their due diligence, and don't go into, especially given that Madrid had dropped points, to not go into too relaxed, to go and capitalize on that opportunity and widen the gap for the game. And that's exactly what the team did. So with the lineup was a very interesting one. We had John Garcia at keeper. We had Koundé at right back, who didn't have the best of games. I'll get into that. Pau Cubarsí had a monumental game, monstrous game by Pau Cubarsí. Gerard Martin, we're getting used to a standard of good, meaning great games by Gerard Martin. Incredibly proper game, winning his duels. Not noticing him on the field because he just does everything so well. Incredible. Off the left, Cancelo. In the double pivot, we find ourselves with Pedri and Gavi. Dani Olmo at the 10. Fermin off the left. Lewandowski up top to fight with the center backs, and boy, did he fight with them. And Rooney Bardghji out wide. Now, Rooney Bardghji didn't have the best of days, which was to be expected. Getafe sit in a low block. It's difficult to break them down. They have numbers sitting back, and they find themselves in very condensed areas of the pitch in that low block, and it's hard for Rooney to be able to maneuver. Like I said, I think that lower power train of his, isn't explosive enough and physical enough to burst past some of these more mature players in their physique. And I asked of Rooney to drift inwards a bit to find himself in more advantageous situations so he could have shots on goal. He did have one that he kind of hit it with the outside of his left foot that went out wide. But besides that, it was a quiet day for him. His pass map, there was a lot of pass backs and there was a lot of circulation around the ball, and he didn't have the ability to really take on his man. And I just want to, from my perspective, this is the kind of performance I was expecting from Rooney Bardghji. I think there has been kind of an unchecked hype around him and demand for him to get more minutes. And something that I think that the fan base needs to understand is that if Rooney Bardghji hasn't been getting minutes, it's because Hansi Flick sees something that we don't. And that's why he needs to see him develop in certain areas. I, for one, do think Rooney Bardghji has an incredible potential. marvelous potential. He could be very good, but there are aspects of his game that need to mature. I mentioned in the preview, last season he was out for a whole year. This season, it's his first season back. It's the first season of his playing in like the top of the line European teams. It is not easy to come into the team. Has he had good performances in the past? Yes. A lot of that has come from interchangeability of drifting inside and getting opportunities to shoot the ball. His 1v1 isn't that great. When it is great, it's in when the contexts are favorable. For example, the Atletico Madrid game where their legs are fried and the inertia and the momentum are there, and he can be off of fresh legs, finding crosses into the box when we're in ultra offensive mode. But when we're not, things can get more difficult. And today, I think we were able to see some of the faults in his game, you could say. But that's stuff that could be polished. That's stuff that could be matured. Those are things that can be developed. And it's good that he's getting this exposure to, a difficult away ground like Getafe. But I think some of the hype that was generated, some of the frustrations were kind of like irresponsible by the fan base, as if Rooney was some like matured, full like final product player that is ready for the big leagues right off the bat. Like, no, we have to calm down. Mind you, he's a sub for Lamine Yamal, the best player in the world. There's a huge drop off from Lamine to him, and there's a reason Lamine plays so much. So my reason for pointing at the flaws in Rooney Bardghji's game is to have appropriate expectations, because there's already people, because I already know how this fan base works. You pop a player up, you want him to play so bad, all of a sudden he has a somewhat of a stinker, okay, mid-game like this one, and then already people were slandering Rooney Bardghji. Calm down. My reason for pointing out the flaws in this game is for the fan base to understand, hey, Rooney Bardghji, his game isn't developed. His game isn't foolproof. It's not the final product. There are areas of improvement for him. Let's have some grace and patience with him. Let's not overhype him up to think that he's this foolproof right winger that should be getting a significant amount of minutes. If he's not playing, it's for a reason, and that was evidenced today. So we need to understand that, so that when he does play these games and he doesn't necessarily play at his best, we don't start hounding him and punishing him and saying that, oh, this was just a fluke. No, calm down. Have patience. The word is patience with a lot of our players. Let them develop. Calm down. Relax. It's his first season in this environment. He's going to have a great off season where he's going to be able to improve on his weak points and come back stronger. And I'm sure Flick does not shy away from giving young players minutes. And I'm sure we will see more of Rooney Bardghji if he decides to stay, because there might be a loan spell in his future. Lewandowski played to battle it out with the center backs. Fermin played in order to kind of give us that work rate on the left-hand side that Rafinha does. Him and Gavi can both give us that on that left-hand side. And given that Dani Olmo was playing as at the 10, it was time for Fermin to play off the left, and I think he did a great job. Obviously, Fermin's a great presser. He presses well, cohesively with the rest of the attacking unit, and he took his goal, took his chance very well from a Cubarsí recovery. A brilliant tackle by Pau Cubarsí. Brilliant. I'll have to dedicate some minutes to Pau Cubarsí later on, but Pau Cubarsí does a magnificent tackle. The ball lands to Pedri. Pedri doesn't think twice, sends a through ball. Fermin's through. Lewandowski's open off the right, but Fermin slots it past the goalkeeper, dedicates his goal to Lamine Yamal, and makes it 1-0 for us at the start of the second half. Fermin is just so good. I love the way he runs in behind. I love how he has an instinct to goal. And sometimes I think it might be too egotistical, but today it was great on his side, and he continues to put numbers up, score more goals, and I'm loving what I'm seeing from Fermin. And that left-sided position of his adds quite a bit of variety to us. I think he's one of the players, him and Gavi. I think even Fermin mitigates Rafinha's injury a bit more, even more than Gavi, because Fermin does have more capabilities of scoring. As of right now, he's a bigger threat in front of goal with runs in behind. And he's very attacking minded and has a work rate that, not exactly because Rafinha is a freak, but he has a very, very good that can mimic Rafinha's output on the pitch. So I really, really liked Fermin off the left, and not to mention that he is very sound on the ball as well. Now, cohesively, we saw a great Pedri today. Pedri was amazing. Once again, he was dictating the tempo, very, very much taking the game by the scruff of the neck, making the game his, setting the tempo. And that's because we saw a Pedri that was properly surrounded this time. I think that Pedri has arrived to this point in the season completely gassed, and it's because he has been covering way too many distances. Why? Because we haven't been responsible with the ball. We have been having too many giveaways. We have been having way too many defensive coverages that need to have heroic efforts by our double pivots, particularly Pedri, who's very good on like off the ball and recovery. But whenever you have a Pedri that's having to work so hard off the ball, that's not good for our intentions whenever we do have the ball, because he's gassed, because he's tired. And with Lamine Yamal being down, you can kind of afford to have a little bit more irresponsibility with the ball, because you have someone like Lamine Yamal who can have individual moments of brilliance that will break a game for you. And once you score one, you score two, the ball starts rolling, and then you can finish the game off. Without that, we need to have complete control of the midfield, complete control of the ball, set the tempo, be very responsible, not be left and exposed to counters by the opposition. And that's how you take the game and win. And we saw that today by Flick adding Fermin, adding Dani Olmo, adding Gavi, surrounding Pedri with lots of players that are very responsible with the ball, that take care of the ball, that, you know, Eric and Casado don't necessarily give Pedri the best ability to kind of trust whoever's on that ball. He knows he has to make himself available. He knows he has to drop deeper to pick up the ball. He knows he has to have huge defensive coverages if their positioning isn't the best. But with Gavi, you have someone that is very good, that has great defensive coverage, that really can dictate, and he's self-sufficient with the ball at his feet. So Pedri can move farther up the pitch. He doesn't have to exert himself as much. And on the other hand, you have a Dani Olmo who played a great game as well, who's very responsible on the wall, who he can associate with, connect passes, hide the ball, rest with the ball at your feet. The same thing goes for Fermin. And this is how you enable the best Pedri. This is how you enable the best Pedri. In my opinion, this is something I, for one, have been really missing the another center mid. I have been loving seeing either Fermin or Gavi off the left, because they are more sound on the ball, and that allows for Pedri to exist in better context. There was already people that were ready to slant Pedri. Pedri, for the love of God, Pedri. More often than not, if Pedri's not playing well, it's a result of the system around him. It really is. This guy has gotten us used to excellence week in and week out. Greatness. He has made greatness the standard. So if Pedri's not playing well, more than likely it's because of the system around him. I can promise you that. And what do you know? You play players around him that play responsibly, that can give him the ball back, that allow him to not fatigue himself off the ball. He takes control of the game. Simple as that. And that's what he did today. Incredible game by Pedri. What else? Gavi, Imperial. I had missed watching Gavi play so much, and Gavi once again getting minutes in, and his defense rate, his work rate, his responsibility on the ball, the way he moves circulates the ball quickly, picking up the ball, interchanging with Pedri. I just miss seeing the both of them play, and he complements Pedri so well. And I just can't wait to continue to see Gavi develop on the ball, his goal scoring capabilities, and more dangerous passes in the final third. I'm excited to continue to see. Gavi has come back really, really, really good, and even just his celebrations in the goals, understanding the significance of the game, playing this game with the heart that is required. Especially with Rafinha down, a lot of people say Gavi is one of the he's the heartbeat of the team, and not just that. Earlier in this week, Flick said that he needs more leaders on this team, And Gavi said, that's correct. We do need more leaders, and I see myself as one. And with Rafinha being down earlier in the season, we would see that our attitude would slack, our work rate would drop, our press would be more lazy. But when you have Gavi on the pitch, he's a leader. He, with his energy, he elevates the attitude of the team. He elevates the work rate of the team. He gets the players hyped. The way he goes and celebrates with Fermin, if like profusely, and even with Marcus Rashford when he scores his goal when he comes on, the energy that Gavi brings is so important, and I hopefully next season we can see him be a regular in the starting 11, if not a very important player coming off the bench. But I'm loving having Gavi back. Pau Cubarsí, Pau Cubarsí, you might see him. He has a baby face. He's good at playing out the back, but this guy enjoys playing defending. He enjoys the art of defending. He is so good in that Fermin goal. The way that man proper tackle, dispossessing the Getafe player, and getting the ball to Pedri, by bounce off or whatever. But the cleanup the cleanup tackle that he makes right there is wonderful. Wonderful stuff right there. And not just that, but when Getafe had an opportunity off the counter, um, they had a cross where it looked like the Getafe player was just about to score in an open net. A heroic tackle by Pau Cubarsí. I don't even know how he pops the ball up over the goal and sends the ball over the corner, avoiding the tie, which would have made the game 1-1. And shortly after, we find ourselves in that corner with the 2-0. The ball somehow lands to Lewandowski, who's about to clear it, but he takes a pause, takes a touch, sees Rashford's on the run, sends him on a long ball, and Rashford is off to the races, and I'm crossing my fingers. I'm like, please score this. Please, Rashford, score this. He does, takes two good touches to set the ball in front of him, slots it past the keep, and makes it 2-0 for us, pretty much sealing the deal. It wasn't the most fast-paced game for us. Rashford took his goal well. He came in actually for Universidad playing off the right. It had some very interesting minutes off the right, Rashford. I think Rashford had a really good performance off the right, very proper, but also, again, it was his first time seeing Getafe away. He got checked off the ball a couple times, laying on his back. I said in the preview, I was like, man, Rashford's gonna get that first dose of some random defender hitting him off the ball, knocking the wind out of him, and he did get that. But he also takes his goal, and he continues to accumulate goals scored. And he's someone that's looking to prove himself in this last bit of the season to see whether Barcelona get another loan or purchase him permanently. I think the club is leaning no, but either way, I've been appreciative of Rashford's services, and he takes his goal well. Um, some lowlights. Koundé probably didn't have the best of days. Koundé was very erratic. Some things that are really inexplicable. I think a part of it is due to the pitch. The pitch was horrendous. Like I said, the way the ball was bouncing, the way our players were kind of slowing down the tempo of the game to make sure that they were taking proper touches, that they weren't making stupid decisions. And I think Koundé was just quite erratic. And with him, I've already made a video on him, a short form one, saying that, yes, this isn't Koundé's best season, but players, the footballing career of players isn't always linear. Koundé, up until this point, has been a marker of excellence for Barcelona, and he has had an off season this year. Today's performance was low, incredibly erratic, misplacing passes, dead giveaways, not receiving the ball well. It was quite poor. I think for Koundé, what's best for him right now is that the season ends and that he just disconnects for the summer, recovers. It was an injury-ridden season, so he wasn't able to build momentum to start lining up good games back to back. And I think a lot of that has influenced in his performances. Granted, the injuries have affected him, and it's okay. Two things can be true. I can still have faith in him that he can recover his form from last season, and I also think that we can be patient and we could just see the season through, wrap up the league, and let Flick make the best decision whether he wants to keep him, whether he wants to sell him. And as fans, let's be patient with him. He had his first off season. I think, okay, let's regroup, let him get back to his level that we all know he can do, because his body of work, he has overwhelmingly a whole lot more good than bad. And yeah, guys, I think that's the name of the game, especially without Lamine Yamal. A lot of people were worried to see how we would perform without him. You know, there's the denominated term, Lamine dependencia, means ultimate reliance on Lamine. But today we saw a very proper game from our side. And I think I liked what I saw. I liked the control that we were able to deploy. And I think that uh, with Lamine Yamal being out, I think the players had a bit of more concentration going into this game, because they knew that the collective as a whole was going to have to rise, because they didn't have someone to, deliver them from a poor collective output, because Lamine Yamal a lot of the times is a get out of jail free card, because he is just so good in having moments of brilliance that seal games off. Without that, we had to rely on control. We had to rely on being more risk adverse and not allowing the game to enter a to and fro. And I think we did that very well. One of the better performances at the away ground in Getafe. So I'm quite satisfied for the game. But what did you guys make of the game? What did you guys make of Rooney Vardage's performance? Do you guys like seeing more players that are very more responsible on the ball, like Pedri and Gavi, Dani Olmo and Fermin? I, for one, there's been a lot of talk of people wanting the return to the 4-3-3, or at the very least, instead of Dani Olmo in the midfield, having Gavi there and just having with Marc Bernal or a Frankie de Jong. A Frankie de Jong, by the way, that came on as well, that I forgot to mention. Very, very well. Frankie de Jong is so good, man. I wish, I want to, before the season's end, I want to see Pedri, Gavi, Frankie play a game together. I need to see that. This is a must for me. I have got to see that. This would be wonderful. This guy, I miss him so much, man. Oh my gosh, Frankie de Jong, I missed you so much. And man, when our midfielders are all healthy, this team can look so good. So we take a step closer. Given Real Madrid's loss to last minute tie to, shout out Hector Bellerin making it 1-1 for Betis, we extend our lead to 11 points, and we have the opportunity. I think if we win our next game, I think if Madrid win their corresponding game as well, we still have the opportunity to win the league in the Clásico. So, yeah, guys, very responsible game from the team. I'm quite happy with the performance for what it is, especially given the ground. But let me know what you guys think. What do you guys make of the midfield? What do you guys make of Fermin playing off the left? Do you guys think that next season this could be the roadmap for us to follow, with having more controllers on the field, having guys that can really grab a hold of the possession and be more responsible on the ball? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, and drop a like on the video if you liked it, obviously, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time.